Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. Today I really want to talk about breastfeeding, my breastfeeding journey, the things that I found that helped me. This is a topic I feel very passionate about, so I often get questions about it, and I thought, why not discuss that today? This is my newest addition, baby Jet, and he'll be joining us. I hope he's not too cranky. I also have my trusty phone. I don't want to bore you guys too much with the very long video, so I thought I'd put my points down on here. So why I chose to breastfeed. This is something I knew without a doubt when I was pregnant. I would breastfeed. I didn't even consider whether I would be able to or wouldn't. I just knew that I'd be breastfeeding because I felt that there were many benefits to breastfeeding for baby as well as mommy. It provides optimal nutrition for baby. You know, you don't have to worry with baby's weight. It helps you fight against infections, colds, allergies and things like that. And then for mom, of course, there's lots, the list is endless with the benefits for baby. And then for me, the benefits were really just cost. It's free to breastfeed. Easy access. I could breastfeed or feed him anywhere. I wouldn't have to worry about making a bottle or warming milk, or I could just feed him anywhere, anytime. I fed on demand, so I didn't time when he was eating. I would just feed him or feed Cuba whenever he wanted to eat, and I'm doing the same thing with Jet now. Whenever he wants to eat, I really just feed him. And the weight gain, when we do check in at the clinic or doctors, is perfect. I've had big babies with both, and they were always saying, you know, don't worry about the weight gain, you're breastfeeding, so it's okay, continue feeding as you are. Weight loss for me, I don't know if it's just in my genes. I'm naturally tall and slender, but I do feel that I lost the baby majority of the baby weight quickly after I gave birth. And then also it's a natural contraceptive. That one's debatable because I fell pregnant while breastfeeding Cuba. I fell pregnant with Jet, but this was really like a year and a bit after. Cuba was a year and a bit old. I fell pregnant with him, and by then I was mixed feeding also, and most of Cuba's feeds then were bottle. He was self-weaning, so I wasn't breastfeeding as much that time. So how did I know how to breastfeed? I didn't do any, that you get these lactation consultants that help you and teach you how to breastfeed, and it's cool for people to go for that, especially people who are feeling anxious. But like I said about the natural, giving natural birth, I knew that our bodies instinctively know what to do. I knew that I'd know how to breastfeed. Okay, there he goes. It's just, while we're at it, show you how this works. I'm going to feed him now. There you go, baby. Are you happy? There we go. So I knew that I would instinctively know how to breastfeed. We are just like animals. They don't get taught how to do these things, and they just know how. Same with me. As soon as baby was handed to me, I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I need to feed him this way. And it works. I think if you put that block up already, you will encounter some challenges. And of course, there are things that stop people from being able to breastfeed sometimes, and that make it difficult for them. I was lucky that I didn't have any of those challenges. So I've had a successful breastfeeding experience with Cuba, and I hope to have the same with him. So far, so good. Yes, now, when Cuba was handed to me, I just put it into my breast, and I knew what to do, he knew what to do. I trusted that the baby would know what to do, and I trusted that my body would know what to do. I didn't feel any milk before, while I was still pregnant. I didn't feel that I my breast had grown, but I didn't feel that there was any milk in, you know, if you'd squeeze it to try and see if there's anything, there was nothing coming out. But as soon as I gave birth, like 3 hours later, I could see that there was some milk coming. And I always read that it doesn't have to come before birth, that you'd be able to breastfeed normally if you were worried about it before. Yeah, and I found it such a bonding experience, you know, because I'd sit in my room the way I am, in baby's room the way I am now, and this is obviously covering his face now, but you can just make eye contact with baby. It really brings you, it's a real bonding experience. It's a calming experience. I found that being calm while breastfeeding helps a lot. And not being too anxious, you know, is it coming, is it not coming, things like that really does help you just make this an easier process. Now, how it feels when a baby suckles, really when they're newborn, you don't feel anything, there's no sensation. I didn't feel any pain. I started to feel my first little bit of pain about 3 days after delivering baby, both times. That's when the breast really becoming gorged, and you start to feel like, oh, I need to start pumping this because it's so full and baby's not drinking enough. And there are a few things that you can do to help ease that pain. Also the nipple pain from them sucking, I felt a little bit of that pain every now and then, but you could just put creams on, and mine wasn't too bad. But for the engorged breasts, when I was away from them, or when I'm away from them while breastfeeding, obviously my milk would fill up and I'd need to somehow drain it. So I'd rush home, and easiest thing was to feed. That would give me some relief. But otherwise, I could get into a hot bath or shower, lean forward and let the milk just drip away. Let that gold just run away from you. You really want to save. Mommies who breastfeed know that milk is gold. If you're trying to store your milk, you don't want to waste a single drop. But when you do feel a bit of pain, sometimes you just have to let go. And then with a toddler, or as Cuba was growing, it did become a little bit more uncomfortable because he started getting teeth, so he'd bite on me, and that's when breastfeeding becomes a challenge and really stressful, because by the very end of feeding Cuba, I was feeling like very anxious every time I knew he'd have to eat, because every time he'd latch on, I would feel a bit of pain, and that would kind of make me not too excited for feeding time with him anymore. And he was really just using it when he woke up, he would drink a little bit of milk, and when he'd go to sleep, he'd drink a little bit of milk, or when he'd get hurt and he'd need to be comforted, I'd give him some milk, and that would help. But that was really the only pain I had, and then those are the few sensations that I felt. What I did when I felt pain, I explained to you. Remedies that I see are putting like ice packs on your breasts, or putting cabbage leaves is one I hear often, you know, just putting a cabbage leaf in the freezer and then putting it over your breasts, and that does help with the inflammation. And then the things that helped me through my breastfeeding journey, something that was often a topic, was like, while I was breastfeeding the first time, was, you know, where you're going to breastfeed, and do you breastfeed out in the open? Do you just let everything out for everyone to see? And it's quite a sensitive thing, because to each their own. But it's to me, I feel it's a natural thing. My baby is feeding. If you're going to feel weird about me feeding my baby, then you're the problem here. But this little goodie is a lifesaver. I am very comfortable breastfeeding my baby anywhere, whether I'm in a restaurant, on an aeroplane, in the mall, wherever. But I would always cover myself up. So I would do it this way, very discreet. This I could wear on a summer's day as a little scarf, and when I need to feed him, I just put it over, and there we go. I can keep an eye on him. It's very comfortable to breastfeed with this on, and then I feel like I'm respecting people who maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable by me breastfeeding. I remember once being at a restaurant, and Cuba needed to feed, and I was with people, and someone asked me, "Oh, are you going to?" I said, "Oh, he needs to have milk now." And they knew I was breastfeeding, so someone said, that the one person I was with had made a comment or said to me, "Oh, are you going to feed him?" Going to feed him, yes, but if you mean going to feed him, no. I'm feeding him here. Where do you expect me to go and feed him? Do you expect me to go and feed my baby in a bathroom filled with germs? We live in South Africa. I don't know if anywhere around the world there are really great breastfeeding facilities or places where you can go and breastfeed that are cool and don't inconvenience anybody. But here, there's really nothing. So the only place where I can discreetly go and breastfeed is to go to a bathroom somewhere and feed him. So when I'm at home, of course, I'm comfortable. The only place I'd need to go away is if I'm in a restaurant or in the mall. And really, do I really want to go and feed my baby in a public bathroom? No, not going to happen. So this was my lifesaver, and everyone around me, I think, became comfortable. I don't know if they had a problem. Sorry if they did. They are over it. If you don't have one of these, I love Kids Emporium. I always go. I went back for Jet to get another one, but that's where I got this one. But really, there's lots of online shops that sell them. Baby cities, those places, all baby places now have them. And if you can't get one of these or make it yourself, then it's okay too. This one, I normally just use any little wrap or blankie. Okay, he's done feeding now, so let me just make sure he's okay. Are you okay, Bubble? Hello. So hello, everybody. So what I would do here is just tie the two ends of any little blankie. Pop it over my head, and Bob's your uncle. I think I tied the wrong ends, but then I'd cover in the same way, and I'd be able to have a look through here. Now do tie the longer ends together. It makes a wider loop around your neck, so you're able to see them easier. Yeah, so this is very light, and so this is, by the way, one of my favorite brands for baby. It's Booty Baby, really just soft and so luxurious feeling. They have growers, and this was a wrap I would use to swaddle him in. It's just a blankie I would throw over when it's very hot on summer days. But anyway, I'm not trying to promote anything here. It's just I'm mentioning things that I really like. Another thing that helped me was, like I said, breast milk is gold. So this is a silicone breast pump, and this is really when I am breastfeeding, like when I was breastfeeding Jet on now, you often get let down on the other breast, and that milk just goes to waste. So this helps because it just suctions onto your breast and it collects all the milk. This is a little storage. Let me show you actually how it works if you aren't too sure. I'm going to make a demonstration here. So this is the breast. It works better if you just wet around here. It creates a better suction if you just wet it slightly here. But this is how it would work. And all the letdown will just be collected into your silicone pump. And when you're done, you store it. If you are storing milk, there's little containers you can use, or the little bags that you can use. I use these little packets where you can just store them in the refrigerator or the freezer. And I have a electric breast pump. I wasn't really a big fan of the electric one. I just found it very noisy, so it gave me a bit of stress. I felt like it was working slowly, so I would start to get anxious. And like I said earlier, the key to breastfeeding is just to relax. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the electric breast pump, although I did use it because when I went back to work I really needed to start stashing the milk. This is just a cheapie manual breast pump, which I love because, like I said, when you are away from your kids and you are breastfeeding, your milk does fill up and then it becomes painful. So this I would always carry in my bag somewhere, and I would pump and dump. I'd throw it away if I needed to, but it gave me some relief. And like I said, this is a cheapie. This is less than 200 Rand from, I think I bought this one at Clicks. And it works just like I really got a lot of milk out of this. I remember we went away for a weekend. Cuba was 4 months and I was going back to work, so I was struggling with the electric breast pump. It just wasn't giving me enough milk, and we were going away to Lesotho. There was Afri-Ski going, and my husband was playing at Afri-Ski, so I needed to make sure I got enough milk. So of course the relaxing part was out of the question. I was stressed out, and I found that this really helped me before and while I was away. I didn't need to find a spot in the snow to try and plug in this electric pump. You do get ones that don't use electricity, but this was handy. I could just quickly go to the car, hide away, and just try and help relieve myself. Yeah, and then these are the bottles. This one connects to I used Tommy Tippy bottles to feed them when I needed to, because it was apparently, this is closest to the natural breast, and Cuba had no trouble latching. I haven't tried a bottle with him at all yet, but Cuba had no trouble latching. This worked perfectly fine. You know, I was very into natural rubber teats, glass bottles, because of course I wanted to go the healthiest route and do what's best for my babies. But I think your kid does determine what you're going to need when the time comes, and I eventually found that Tommy Tippy was the brand that worked for Cuba. I did get a set of bottles for him. Like I said, I haven't tried it yet, but he's different to his brother, so you might find that these don't work with him either, and we'll have to change it up again. And then another little goodie, which is not really breastfeeding related, but this I actually saw by my cousin. When I was pregnant with Cuba, I was using the big sterilizers, and it would be a schlep, and I got a little smaller one, but it would be a schlep to have to carry this around everywhere you go, because I was sterilizing everywhere. So if I'd go and visit my mom, I would take this little container with, and I saw them use these little packets which you can fold up nicely. You can use this up to 20 times, and yeah, you just put a little bit of water in, put whatever you want to sterilize in here. Oh baby, are you okay? Oh, sorry. Yeah, and you just pop that packet in the microwave to sterilize. So that's a new goodie that I found is really cool to use. And yeah, that's about it. I think I've covered a lot of what I wanted to say. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. If you do have questions or want me to elaborate on something, please leave a comment down below, and I promise to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.